All right. So, hi, you guys. It is LaQuisha Malone here with you guys for another round of Strawberry Lit TV, which is a extension of the Strawberry Lit magazine. And I have a very special guest here with me tonight, Miss Nina Stewart. She is the author strategist, which I will introduce her in one second. But first, I would like to tell you guys go follow us on our YouTube at strawberrylit.tv. Follow us on our Facebook at Strawberry Lit TV, and you can watch this show live. It will also air later on today on our podcast, which is going to be an Apple and Amazon Music and a couple of other places, Spotify and things like that. So also don't be afraid to comment. You can comment under any live video, and we can see your comments as they go. Okay. All right. So just to introduce our guest and what we're going to talk about tonight. Tonight is going to be more about, since we have the author strategist on who helps authors with branding their book, we're going to talk about branding and we're going to talk about publishing and things like that, to help authors who may have some questions, about how to market and publish and get themselves out there. Okay. So let's see here while we try to bring up my stuff here. All right. So I'm going to read her bio and then I'm going to bring her on. All right. So Nina Stewart is an author strategist. She teaches authors and aspiring authors how to turn their scattered thoughts into books, build their author brand, and create custom strategies for marketing and promoting books. Nina does this by providing them with the tools and resources they need without breaking the bank. Hey, we can all use that, right? She is a best-selling author, self-published, and the CEO of Author Strategist LLC. Nina has written several articles and ebooks on health and wellness since 2002. She is also co-authored Resilient Women Reclaimed Power, Trading Our Pain for a Purpose with 12 other wonderful women. And her latest project is a digital course called Publishing Made Easy, where she walks authors without completed manuscripts through the self-publishing process. All right. So that there, you guys, is Miss Nina Stewart, who is the author strategist, which I'm very excited to bring on because we kind of do similar things in this publishing game. So I'm really excited to pick her brain. So I am going to bring her on right now, you guys. Hi, Miss
Hi.
Nina. How
Hey.
are you? You hear me
I'm
well,
good.
right?
Yes,
You
I can hear you well.
Great, great. All right, so I just gave your introduction. So is this been since 2002 that you've been doing what you've been doing, or when did you start being the author strategist? And I love that name, by the way.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me on your show. I started doing the author strategist in 2018 because I joined a anthology book, my first anthology book. I have a second one also, and I saw that it was a need for authors to have support, to be taught how to market and promote books. A lot of people join anthology projects or even just, join other publishing companies that say, we'll help you self publish your book, but that's it, right? It's like,
Right,
what happens now? Like, how do I, promote and market this book? How do I get other people to buy my book other than my family members and friends? And it was a hobby. I helped 13 other women. One fell off, but to write books. They were never writers. They never wrote a book a day in their life. And I got them all together, and we, started a second anthology project. But with that, it wasn't just about writing an anthology. It was like, let's learn how to brand ourselves, how to market our books, how to get book sales. I mean, the whole nine, how to build your social media, because of course, a lot of people weren't big on social media. And if they were, they're on it for, personal things. So it's more like, let's get online, let's get on social media with a purpose. Our purpose is to market our books. Our purpose is to share our stories with the actual people that we intended to write the book for, not family and friends. And of course, we love their support as well. But then after everything dies down, you have crickets, right? You have no one buying your book. You don't know how to get them to buy your book. You feel kind of foolish, out here trying to hey, buy
That,
my book. And you're like, what do I do? I don't want to sound salesy. So that's kind of how I got started with the author strategist. And it kind of just took a head of its own because people started just messaging me like, hey, how do I do this? And how do I get on here? And how do I make an Amazon bestseller list? And I'm like, well, first you need you need a platform.
exactly, exactly. Wow. Well, that is definitely exciting to hear that you are able to, first of all, help 13 women, whether one fell off or not. You were still able to help these women, which, we lose some, we win some.
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure the word of mouth, you know what I'm saying, just flooded you with more and more people. So, with your strategy to help authors, tell me, what does that look like for you? Walk me through how that would work if I was to come to you and needed help. What
Um,
would be some of the things you would do for me first?
Normally we would get on a one-on-one call because I also saw the need for people to have support, for
Hmm.
for authors to have someone to kind of just vent to say, I've been trying all this stuff, I don't know where I'm at. Instead of just giving them some cookie cutter, book or some ebook, or how it is, you have a list of things, here's a checklist on what to do, and you're like, I'm doing it, but I'm doing something wrong. So we sit down on a 90-minute call and we go over your book. What is the book about? Who is it for? And we kind of always get stuck there. Who is that book for? Because I want the authors to know who their audience is. That's the very first, thing that we talk about. Well, who did you write this book for, and who did you intend on reading it? And it always stumps, authors. Even for myself, when I started writing, I'm like, oh dang, who did I write this book for? And then it kind of gets deeper. We go into a marketing plan where we decide what's the best fit for you. Are you on Instagram a lot? Are you on Facebook? What's the platform that you want to sell on? I have clients who don't sell online at all, and we talk about other strategies for them. Okay, well, let's set you up with some vendor events. Here's some things that's going on in your area. This is how you will reach, certain organizations that you may want to sell your book to. So we kind of go over what makes them comfortable. It's never a cookie cutter deal when we are doing our one-on-one consultations. We kind of set that up. We also set up the social media because I'm a big advocate on being online. Everything is online now, and due to the pandemic, we saw how that changed a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
um, and so just having that presence online, whether you are on there consistently or you're on there sometimes, build that platform, because you never know when someone wants to buy your book, or like you said, word of mouth, and there isn't a link to your book, there isn't a website, there isn't an Instagram. So we kind of go over that as well. And then from that, I kind of just take them through the whole process from beginning to end.
That sounds like to me, um, like you are their publisher, you know. But I know that's different because that's what I did. I was doing publishing, and then I started doing the same type of thing that you're doing, where I kind of help people with the process going through, like what you're doing. So that alone, because you're teaching them the business, you're teaching them how to publish, market themselves the correct way, which a lot of people seem to mess up in the area on what to do before, during, and after the book is published. And you're kind of teaching them that with your steps and strategies. When it comes to that, can that get a little overwhelming? And how would you handle that when you're dealing with authors who either come to you and need your help, and maybe they're not getting it? Because sometimes when I work with authors, some authors just don't get it. They just don't understand, what do you mean when you say this, why, and it's not clicking. So, and it's like the step of why, like you say, some people are online, some people are not, and dealing with ways of how to help the authors who are online and doing both, and the ones like, listen, I'm just not, I'm shying away from that online stuff. What else can I do? So how do you deal with the overwhelming aspect of dealing with so many different authors in that manner?
How I deal with it is, well, first let's go back to where it's like being a publisher, and that's why I kind of got a little bit frustrated with, because I was thinking, well, you have a publisher, why
Yes.
aren't they doing this? And you
Yes.
paid $1,500
Oh
just
yeah.
for them to do this. And even to this day, I still have clients who are like, I need help, but I have my book and it's published. And I'm like, so what did your publisher give you?
Exactly.
What information did they give you? Oh, this worksheet
Yes.
or this a quick thing, or they didn't give me anything.
Nothing else. Yep.
Nothing. And I'm like, you could have just did everything over here if that's the case, because at least you would have, gotten those steps way before this book is now published and you don't know what to do. And a lot of times I deal with the frustration by just being really transparent with them. If there
Mm-hmm.
are, and I've had several that are like, yeah, I don't want to do any of that. And I said, well, you can't get the Instagram money. You want to be on Instagram, you want to
Mm-hmm.
have your book published on here, you want all this stuff, but you can't get that, excuse me, you can't get that, money or those book sales if you don't show up for those, readers. Um, and a lot of them are like, okay, let me take a step back. I don't know if I want to do this. Also, give them a different type of view of things. You don't have to be online to sell your book, but you do have to sell your book. You have to promote
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Even
Mm-hmm.
traditional authors have to promote themselves. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I definitely agree that authors definitely have to promote themselves. I mean, it is definitely a way to gain readership, and I also think in that process you learn a lot about yourself. I really feel that way. That you learn a lot about yourself in the process of trying to market and promote yourself. So yeah,
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I got
it's
dust
okay.
or something. I don't know. But yeah, just telling them that being a traditional author, they also have to market and promote themselves. Um, Traditional publishing companies want them to have an actual following, and I try and break that down to them. They're just not out here getting deals. They're
Mhm.
also looking at how can you bring people to us? How can you market it as well? Even
Right.
as deep as having clients who don't want to do any of the work, but they want their books in Walmart, Target. You got to do the work. That's
Hey.
work. And if
Yes.
you want somebody to do it for you, you're coming out of cash,
Oh yeah.
tons of
Yeah.
cash.
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing is making sure your book is worthy of that. And everyone's like, I wrote a book. I want to be a New York, Times bestseller. Is that a book that's worthy of that? And how do you know? Did you
Right.
give it to someone else to read? I get a lot of no one else read my book. Well, we can't go that far right now. Let's keep it real simple and get you a
Right.
following, build your platform, see if this is even the way to go. Because a lot of times they're like, oh wow, I didn't know my audience was women. I thought my audience was men.
Mm.
Or I wrote a kid's book and I want kids to buy it. Who buys kids' book? Kids don't buy books.
It's the parents.
It's the parents, it's
You
the
have to get their
organization.
attention. Yeah, you have to get their attention.
Absolutely. So a lot of that frustration, um, and I wouldn't say necessarily frustration. It does frustrate me, but once I'm really transparent with them, I
Mm-hmm.
think some of them kind of see, what they need to do. A few of them are like, well, okay, I'm not ready. And then I'll kind of look on their Instagram or Facebook pages and see like you're still implementing the strategies that I gave you because there's no way around it. There's no way
Mm-hmm.
around this.
I agree. I definitely agree. There's no way around the proper marketing, promoting, and not just when the book is published. I think the worst thing is okay, my book is published and I hear crickets. So what do I do? That is the worst
First.
time because I deal with that a lot with when I have my publishing company and when I do my magazine because I still have a magazine. I have a lot of authors say the same thing to me. They'll come to me and want to pick my brain. I'm like, you don't already publish your book where you're behind, and
Mhm.
we all have to learn that. And I think that it's very, very important that authors do get the information to do this stuff beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of the sad part that I see. Even for myself, when I started the anthology, the very first one, and we paid all this money, and we're like, yeah, we got community, and then nothing. And I'm like, no one told us what to do. Like, I have people who are, and I'm in the army, so whenever I like say I have a book, everybody's like, gotcha. They're giving me money. They're, over here supporting. They're buying the book, and then I'm like, what else do I do? Why didn't I do this ahead of time?
Yes. And see, that's the difference on your end. From my end, I published my book and I had people saying, oh, wow, you did it. So I can do it too. That was
Mhm.
my thing was like, well, my God, I've published XYZ amount of books, and those same people still have in my community and family still haven't gotten a copy because they're in their minds like, oh, well, I should write a book too. I want to write a book too. And it's like, you do it, I'm doing it too.
Okay, it ain't that easy, and you're not
Nah,
picking my brain for free anymore. So
exactly. And I think hearing you say that part of picking your brain for free, I think that there are a lot of authors who are in that mode of wanting to do that to people who have the knowledge and feel like I shouldn't have to pay for your knowledge. I've dealt with that, and I feel like, to me, I feel like the reason why that is because they have done what we said at the beginning. They spent so much money and are burnt out from spending all that money. Now they're like, okay, I need to get this information, but I'm not paying for it anymore because what I thought I paid for, I did not get. And I think that that is one of the reasons why a lot of people want to pick your brain for free, because they have been got so many times throughout their publishing and author career. So, all right.
yeah.
So when it comes down to people in that manner, because I have people come to me all the time wanting me to help them and not charge for any of the help that I give. How, in your standpoint, how do you deal with that?
Um, I deal with it with it took me a long time to get
Hmm.
out of that because I saw myself like I'll be on calls. I'll say I'm doing a 15-minute session and it turned into an hour. And my husband is like, Were you in a call for an hour? Like, did you know you could get paid for this? Like, they shouldn't be picking your brain. Like, you're doing all this research and everything for them. And then they don't even
Okay.
give you a shout out. They don't even say thank
Exactly.
you for this at
Exactly.
all. And so what I had to do was I had to know that I am my self-worth. Like
Hmm.
my content is worthy. If you want the free stuff, then you can get it off of my Instagram. And that's when I started putting a lot of just, quick little tidbits like, okay, you're doing it all wrong on there. And if you
Right.
want more information from me, we can hop on a 15 minutes free session. But to pick my brain is $97. Like to just sit there and pick my brain and do this
Yeah.
coaching, this quick coaching session where hey, I'll even give you a free marketing template for that. But that took a while for me to kind of, say what you're giving, you're
Mm.
giving them is worth that. And it's probably worth a little bit more because you actually are spending a ton of time on their projects.
So much.
And for people like us who love it, we love to help them. We love to learn. We love to research and market it. It seems like it's nothing. But
Right.
then you see other, charging an arm and a leg for it. And
Oh
you're
my
like, I
God.
just gave you so much content and my time. And they gave you a quick digital course that was like,
Didn't
no
even, yeah.
information at all.
You left with more and questions than you had answers. And
Exactly.
I can say that I commend you on, and thank you, husband, for making you see that, your worth in that, because I know for me, I struggle with that,
Mhm.
people, not wanting to pay me for any information I know, any of my time to help them. And I have a lot of my friends like, LaQuisha, like, you should charge people for this. You spend countless hours. I think I met a girl not too long ago, and I felt so bad for her for what she was going through. She
Mhm.
paid someone a lot of money and was like, what do I do? And nothing was getting done the way it was supposed to get done, literally. And I came in and I think I stayed up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning helping her in this rushed thing that she had going on. And my sister said, sis, do you not know how much money you just lost?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, whatever. And I was like, I know. I know. I know.
Mhm.
And for me, I do struggle with that. Like, because I want to help so bad. I want to help you so bad. And then, in the end, you're like, dang, you know, what it could have happened if I just, because I set up for so long and I
Yeah.
didn't mind it. I loved it. I love what I do. So that is one of the things I struggle with, is knowing, like you say, is the worth part of yourself, and
Mhm.
charging for this thing that that works for people. And so I commend you for that. Like, you stepped out of that and you like, hey, listen, this is my steps. This is what it is. And that's something I'm learning.
Yeah.
I am definitely trying to learn that with myself.
Yeah, I just recently had a situation like that, and I felt so bad for the girl. And then I was literally about to be like, "Hey, I'll do this all," and I was like, "No," because it's only $97. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? To sit with me for that, and we can map out what you need. And I need to stick with that. I want to help you
Yeah.
for free, but I can't continue to do that because now it's just taking more of my actual time with my family, my own
Mhm.
projects that I was doing. I think I spent this whole year kind of working on other people's projects
Mm,
and kind of putting mine to the back burner. So I
mm.
started getting with
Yes.
my own business coach. It's like your business needs to come first. Your business is
Mhm.
should be more important than their book right now, because
Mhm.
how can you get them to come over to you if your business isn't set up? You know?
Exactly. I agree with that. Especially a part of taking care of yourself, making sure that the projects and things that you want to do are getting done too, because you're
Mhm.
spending so much time over here and you're also not feeding yourself.
Yep.
And I struggle with that. I was just telling someone that yesterday, I don't know if it was my sister or one of my authors, is that for 2022, like I think I want to kind of focus on LaQuisha a little bit because
Yeah.
my I don't know how long you've been following me, but I have health issues.
Mhm.
So I'm like, man, it's not getting any better for me. And I'm like, what else have I done besides offered all this free service to these people that I have nothing to show for?
Mhm.
I have nothing to show for it that says, hey, I've helped you, because like you said, there's not even a shout out.
Yep. Yep.
Hey, I did that. I literally from start to finish helped you publish that book on my computer. I did it on my end while you're on the phone listening. So I really published your book for you, and I still didn't get nothing. No shout out in the book, no shout out on social media, no nothing. Which it's okay. And I was like, no, I want to kind of like what you said, put put myself first too, and make sure that everything I need is set up for me as well as my business. So look
Absolutely.
at you, girl.
Thank you. Because there's not a lot of people out here doing what we're doing, telling them the
No.
raw truth
Yeah.
about it, and sitting down and doing that one-on-one coaching
Oh
with
yeah.
them. A lot of them could
Yeah.
barely get publishers on the phone, and that's helping them with self-publishing. They could barely get someone on the line to or text them. Like I'll even let them text me. Like you can text me if you having you have a question that needs to be answered. You're up late working on something. So
Yeah.
I commend you also, for doing it as well and giving this platform. Also, I've been following you for a very long time. So
Right.
um, yes, yep. And literally tell all my author clients, like, you guys need to hit up over at the
Oh,
Strawberry Lit magazine, because she does interviews, she puts you in a magazine, all this other stuff. But again,
yeah.
oh, if it costs, I don't want it. Well, I guess you don't want to.
And that was one of the things I went through in the beginning of my magazine. Because this month, in a couple of days, it'll be exactly 6 years
Mm,
for me, exactly. And
right.
that was one of the things I definitely struggled with, was getting people to pay for anything when it comes down to the magazine, because a lot of
Mhm.
people are like, oh, I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to. And I even had somebody tell me, I've been in GQ magazine before, and this, and that, and the third, and they didn't charge me nothing. And I'm like, okay, first of all, let's rewind that. Like, who is
Right.
GQ compared to this, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not even there yet. I want to be, but this hasn't happened yet,
Right.
So it's really weird when you have people who do that. And it's like, okay, so where is your investment in yourself? Because I know I was in a group one time, and I had there was a guy commented that he wanted someone to help him with his children's book, and he didn't want to pay anything. He wanted the cover done, he wanted the images done, he wanted a publishing service, he wanted everything, and he knew he could get it all 100% for free.
Oh.
And people were like, no, you have to pay. And if you don't pay, then someone does for you for free. You're gonna go make money off of this. What if that book become a bestseller? Like, you didn't pay for none of your services. Like, that's not fair to the people who are spending all of their time. And it
Mhm.
was his very first book, and he was like, I don't care what you guys say, I know I can get all of this stuff for free. And it's like you run into that in
Yeah.
this same side of marketing and promoting and helping authors. Their goal is, how can I get everything free? Not the I'm not gonna say cheap, because cheap is not always good. That's what one of my editors told me. So not cheap, but how can I get this within my budget?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of authors don't know to create budgets for
They
their
wouldn't say they don't have budgets. When I asked them, you just sat with me, but I'm like, what's your marketing budget? And if you want to do anything for free, you have to put in the work. There, you can
yeah,
do all of that for free if you want to,
yourself. Yeah,
but you
yourself.
can do it yourself. And
For
it's gonna be a
free.
little hard because you're gonna spend day and night, posting and writing art and doing whatever it is that you got to do for
Oh
free.
yeah,
And it's either you're gonna do it yourself or you're gonna pay someone to do it
to
for
do it
you,
for you.
or you can get with a publishing company, but they're going to
Mhm.
take all of your royalties. And I have to
Oh
try and
yeah.
explain that also. A lot of people like, I wish I was just, published. with a publishing company, well, you're not gonna make any money at all. They're gonna, and that's if they give you a great, if they give you money up front, you still technically have to pay that stuff back, and that's why I kind of pride myself on keeping that transparency with them
Yes.
by saying a lot of that stuff. If you don't have the funds right now to do all this stuff, to be in New York Times bestseller, to be in USA bestseller, like those, that costs money.
Oh
They don't know
yes.
that. You think
Yes.
it's free,
Yes,
it costs money.
I was telling one of my author friends that when I went began to research that strategy, I was like, okay, some years ago, I said, I want to know, how do you get on the New York Times bestseller list,
Yeah.
USA Today, at least USA Today, because that seemed to be a lot easier.
Hmm.
So at least there, but how do you do these things? And when I began to research and found out the dollar sign that comes with getting on that list, I was like, you gotta be kidding
Oh
me.
yeah.
And not only just a dollar sign, like I'm paying other people, but in just your strategy in total and how many books you
Hmm.
need within a very short period of time. Like that is crazy. But you
Yeah.
know what? It's worth it. When
Hmm.
you get it done, it's worth it. I listened to one girl talk about how she did it once and she did another book and she planned the same exact strategy and did
Hmm.
it again. And
Yeah.
she did it twice. And for her now, it's just a no brainer. It just happens. But the
Hmm.
amount of money she says she spent over a period of time to, it was like a very small window, but she spent all that money just for a basically 1 week situation that
Hmm.
took her where she needed. But she spent a lot of money just to get to that 1 week.
Right.
And I
And
was
like you
like,
said, it's the strategy. You have to have the strategy down also. And that's what the hindrance is with a lot of authors. They don't have the strategy down,
oh, the
and
patience.
then or the patience for the strategy,
Oh,
because
yeah.
to get 5,000 people to download your book takes a lot of different strategies, and not just only trying to sell on Amazon. You
Exactly.
can't only just sell on Amazon. You
Say it
can't keep
again.
trying to do that. Like, you could give Jeff your money all you want, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
aren't
am a
going to
very
make
big
no
advocate
push.
on that as well. Like you just can't only depend on Amazon. And I know one of my authors, she was like, that's why I make the most of my money. And I'm like, but how do you know? You have not even tried. There's so many readers
Yeah.
that you're missing out on because Amazon has made it so easy for it to look like we're getting a lot of money. But if you
Yeah.
really narrow that thing down, once your book hit over 2.99, I think it is,
Hmm.
or whatever it is, then they not only charge you the fee, they also charge you like delivery fees.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is ridiculous. You
Hmm.
charging me for the book, but now you're gonna charge me to deliver it to my readers.
Exactly.
That does
Exactly.
not make sense to me. So when you add all that up, you're not really making what you think you're
Mm-mm. I
making.
mean, I made more money by selling my books off of Amazon
Yeah,
than on it. Just but
exactly.
my book, 19.99, get a
Yeah,
$20 bill. I get to keep all of
all
those.
that.
That
You
royal,
know,
I had to share with anybody. One of my clients just now, his name is Christopher J. Oakes. Got out of prison, hit the ground running, sold over 200 books, and that's not on Amazon. We sold 50 on Amazon, and that's a little chump change compared to him selling his books and getting an organization to sponsor him just by opening his mouth and saying like, hey, I think my book will really help your clients, who are coming back into, transitioning back into life, back into the workforce. And they're like, yeah, great book. I mean, they probably didn't even finish reading the book, but they liked it. Why? Because he was marketing and promoting that book outside of Amazon. You just can't keep all of your, eggs in one basket. You really
yeah.
do. And people will see, they like that quick Amazon money, but
Mhm.
I like all my coins. I don't
Oh
mind
yeah,
giving 70%, and then I'm looking like, oh, this book was already on sale for 2.99, and I only get what
exactly.
you get like a quarter
Exactly.
back. Like no,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
And I don't think a lot of authors pay attention to the whole aspect or financial aspect of it. And I'm kind of on the fence of saying it's not totally their fault, but it is their fault because um it all comes down to things that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's like, okay, you don't know what you don't know.
Hmm.
But there is so much information out here now. So
Yeah.
many people out here helping. And I think it comes down to the fact that most people don't think they're a business when they publish.
Hmm.
I've had a lot of author friends tell me that, oh, they're, I'm like, yeah, so now you know your business, right? That book is out there, your business now. And they're like, really? Yes. So you have
Mhm.
to treat it like that. And so a lot of people don't understand the behind the scenes part of that, far as the paperwork in business, far as, keeping up with your sales, keeping up with your revenue, keeping up with your expenses, keeping up with your KPIs, as Miss Monique Manso say all the time. A lot of people don't know these things
No.
because they don't know to know these things. But there are people like you, me, Monique. We're out there trying to tell people, hey, it's more than just publishing this book, and I think that that's kind of what it boils down to. People think, oh, I post a book, I'm done. But you're like, no, you post a book, baby, you're a business now. You
Mhm.
have to monitor your activity, your sales, your emailing list. Most authors don't care to do that, but
No. That's still hard trying to get them to get a
yes,
list.
you have to keep up with that kind of stuff, and a lot of people don't understand that, and that's okay for now. But it's so much information out here now that we are all trying to tell people, listen, is more to it than just throwing that book up there on Amazon and leaving it there, you know.
Yeah.
And
And that's why I'm so big with them on a social media. Because starting out, I would look and search and go book marketing tips, and nothing. Or you would see the same,
over and over,
over and again. But
yeah,
like you're not telling me the nitty gritty. Like,
exactly.
oh,
And
so
that's
I
one
can't just put my
thing.
my cover up like that? No, you can't. And why?
Yeah, yeah,
you
and
know?
that's one of the reasons why I'm in love with Monique Mansa for her platform that she's now doing is teaching authors how to be entrepreneurs, and that's the number one thing that she talks about. And I'm like, thank God someone is doing this and helping people on a larger scale, just like this, with what she's doing. And I'm like, because it is more to it than just slapping some cover on there and
Mhm.
thinking, okay, this is it. No, no, no. You want to, I used to always tell people, you want to be on Walmart shelves or Barnes Noble shelves, you have to go and study what's on the shelf,
Mhm.
because they're not going to just throw anything up there. Let's just be real. I don't care what imprint you get under Kensington or Urban Book, whoever these people are that distribute to these places, they're not just going to throw anything out there. Let's just be honest.
No.
Everything has a rule, right? They can be broken, but it's gotta look good enough. It's
Mhm.
gotta be professional enough. It just can't be some DIY. I've seen some people have covers and it still has a watermark on it from the darn place. They just downloaded it off of
Yeah.
Google. And I'm like, are you serious? I even saw a girl have a book done some years ago, and she had Tyrese, a photo from his album cover on her book. And I'm like, do you not
Copyright
know this is
infringements.
illegal? This is illegal. Like, and some people, they just don't understand that, and you try to talk to them about it, and sometimes they just don't understand.
Mhm. And they're
So,
stubborn. They don't want to budge. I mean, there are
oh yeah,
clients right now where I'm like, the reason why no one's reading this book is that book cover. Like it doesn't even fit,
the
with the
genre.
category or the genre or anything. I mean, I thought this book was about, romance, and it's not. It was,
Exactly.
like a nonfiction book. And I'm like, okay, if I see this, I need you to see this too.
Right.
Sometimes they gotta learn, from their mistakes. But I think with us really pushing that out there, really getting out there, putting that information out there, they'll see it a lot. And I had someone say
Yeah.
that, like, "Oh, I, apologize to me. Like, I'm sorry. I was thinking you was telling me the wrong thing with Amazon ads for, my book." And then I saw people were saying that this your strategy was what you have to do and a little bit more. And like I was
Oh
just being
yeah.
real nice with you, but like you got to go in if you're gonna, try and get ads pushed to your book.
Oh
You
yeah.
you have to have a good book cover. You got to have a good book description. You got to know how to play around with those keywords, and
Oh
metadata.
yeah.
I mean, it's so much
So
that a lot
much.
of people don't know, and so a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, I also have a part of the business where I will do, pretty much be your marketing manager. Okay, I'll go
Mhm.
back behind the scenes of your KDP and fix up a lot of that stuff that
Mhm.
some of them have publishers that uploaded it and did it for them. And I'm like, why?
Oh
Why
yeah.
didn't they fix this for you? Now you got to
Yeah.
go back and now you have to pay somebody else to go in here and clean this up and fix this for you just so you can kind of catch up because you've already been running ads and you wasted a
Mhm.
lot of
Lot of
money
money.
doing this. Now
Mhm.
you're sad because you're like, I'm out of
Oh.
$300 and nothing. So it's like,
Yeah, I can say that I dealt with that in the beginning. I published my second book, and I was so excited. I got a cover model, and I was like, I'm doing this on my own. I'm so excited. I stepped away from the publisher that I paid to do my stuff. Like, I'm going to learn this. It took 3 years to learn it. And then I finally got where I was comfortable enough to do it. And then I published my book, and it was like someone made the statement, and it wasn't directly to me, but it was directed toward me.
Mhm.
And they stated that, that your cover just did not fit. And it wasn't that nice. It didn't fit the genre, it didn't fit this. Not it wasn't that nice whatsoever.
Mhm.
And at the time I'm new, still in this thing new, and I'm like, what the heck is she talking about? Doesn't fit the genre. Like, I'm not understanding. Like, I was so proud of myself. I paid for this photo shoot, got the model, like
Mhm.
we did everything. And it took me a while to understand what she was talking about, because back in 2000, what, 8, 9, 10, like, there wasn't anybody helping you. you
Right.
know there were blogs out there, but there was no video. And
Mhm.
I'm the type of person, I need video. I can read it, but you talk to me, you let me put my hands in it, oh, I can grasp it better. But I would read these articles, I'm like, I still don't understand. Like, what do you mean by
Right.
this? What do you mean by that? But there was nobody actually teaching it, I guess. And so as of recent years, you have all of this out there so that you can understand
Mhm.
the appropriate ways to market and publish your book. And sometimes it's heartbreaking to see so many authors still making the same mistakes when there's so much information that's there, and so many people willing to help um, an author get to where they need to go.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, right about now, we are going to take a quick break. And what I'm going to do is shout out to my sponsors and give you a break so that you can, get your water, whatever you need to do before we come back. And so we will be right back with Miss Nina Stewart, the author strategist, you guys. All right. So, normally, right now, what I would do is a book recommendation, but you guys, I don't have my book in front of me. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to save it for the next time, right? So we'll do 2 book recommendations for the next time. I hope so far that you guys are enjoying the show with Miss Nina Stewart, the author strategist. And don't forget, you guys, if you have any questions, any comments, just please drop them down below that video. And I'm going to do a shout out to some of my sponsors who you will see um, their logos and things at the end. So one of the sponsors I'm going to shout out right now is from Miss Author Adrienne Edwards. I'm sorry, you guys. She sponsored this show on today. I want to say thank you to her, Author Adrienne Edwards. And she will be on with us next week, you guys. And also her company, DBM Collections, which is a clothing collection line that also does mugs and things like that. So I want to give a shout out to her. So I'm going to sit here and let you guys see her for 1 second, all right, while we take uh, a quick break. So, all right, you guys, that was author Adrienne Edwards and her company DBM Collections. And we just took that really, really, really quick break. And so, what I'm going to do right now, you guys, is bring back on Miss Nina Stewart. And we are here talking in a way to help authors with their marketing, publishing. We talked about some of the mistakes that people are making in the industry. We talked about some of the things that you could do to help that. And so, we're gonna bring her back on, you guys. Yes, yes, yes. All right, Miss Nina, we're back. We are back. So,
Hey.
so on this second half of what we're doing, so we did bring up in the beginning a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that you help people with, and we talked about a lot of mistakes that authors are making out there in the industry. Some that people know, some people just may not be aware that, hey, this is a problem, right? So, what I want to talk to you about on this half is, what do you think moving forward that we could do to further help or inform authors so where they can make that connection?
I think we could do like we're doing now, collaborating, doing a lot of
Hmm.
interviews and podcasts about it. We see a lot of authors doing author interviews about their books, but very still really rare out there. Even if you get on YouTube and you're searching for a lot of that information, you kind of see the same, what, three or four content creators about marketing. They kind of say the same things too, but to kind of get us out there as well and giving them that information, more, videos on this. And like you said, it used to be blogs. A lot of people are now into videos. Our attention spans are really, really short
Yeah.
nowadays. So putting it in a quick video, and keeping up with those trends on Instagram and Facebook,
TikTok.
TikTok.
Something
If
I'm still trying to learn how to master.
I mean, it takes me like an hour to do a
Oh my
TikTok
God.
video.
I ain't got there yet. I'm
I'm
like,
getting
yeah, well,
better.
do that.
But just really putting it out there on all those different platforms, because again, when I started looking into it in 2018, it wasn't a lot of info. And when you put in book marketing tips and strategies, again, same people, or it was some really long and dried out like seminar, right? And I'm like, I don't want to listen to all this. Just tell me what I want and what I need to do right now. So kind of keeping up
Right.
with those trends and putting out that information and collaborating, letting them know, like, it's not just about publishing the book. It
Hmm.
starts before you
Hmm.
even finish writing the book. While
Hmm.
you're writing the book, you
Wow.
need to kind of
I
think
was just gonna
about,
say,
who am I writing for and how am I going
where?
to sell it to them? Think
Hmm.
about that. I mean, everybody has a story in them. Everyone can become a writer, but how can I reach them? I mean, you can niche down audiences all the way to single moms with children with autism. I mean, you can niche it down so much, but we have to get that information out there to the authors and let them know, while you're writing it and while you have your character in mind, or even if it's a nonfiction, story, really think about that group. You don't have to try and market to everybody, because
Oh
I
yeah.
I love saying this. Your book is not for everybody.
I say the same thing, and people don't understand that. Some people say, "Oh yeah, my book is for everybody." I'm like, no, it's not. I even had a guy one time who wrote a book with a lot of street elements to it, and
Hmm.
I said, "So you mean to tell me that a 5-year-old would understand your book?" And he said, "Yeah." I'm like, "But who's going to read it to him?"
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna be honest. I said, what about 12 or 13? I said, I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time, I said, I have a 13-year-old at the time.
Hmm.
She's not 13 now. I said, but I wouldn't dare let her read that book,
Right.
you know? And so my thing was, Miss Chanel said true.
Hey,
And
Chanel.
my thing is that, it's just like you said. We have to narrow it down with that most people call it nowadays their avatar, which that wasn't what it was
Hmm.
called back when I was started.
No.
But you can narrow down that avatar and be real specific about who your target audience is. And this goes for anything, because it's not new. You know,
No.
Coca-Cola does it, Fashion Nova does it. I mean, think about it. They had this one girl marking all their clothes until they got where they were. So you know who they was targeting.
Exactly.
And they weren't who they were targeting, but they targeted it,
Yeah.
and you have, even when it comes down to even like Gucci and all these other name brands, like it's
Hmm.
not a new strategy to target a very specific audience first and branch your way out. And
Yeah.
whenever you see some of these companies come out with new products, what do you think they are doing? They target who it's for. Like if you have a
Hmm.
product that's out, like you said, when it comes to children's book, it's not the kid that's buying the book. So you have to target the parent
Yep.
to get them to purchase that book for that child. That's just
Hmm.
kind of where you have to go. If you're writing a book, like you said, about, I think you said a mental illness or something,
Yeah. Single
you got
moms with children with autism.
autism. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
have to target single moms with children who
Hmm.
have autism. Of course, the word of mouth is going to branch you out. If you have a product, okay, like me with my new journal I put out when it comes out on Monday, but
Hey.
it's a pre-order. It's about hair. So my target has always been about hair. I target the hair community, and things like that. My goal is to put videos back on my YouTube because I have old hair videos where I grew my hair out and
Mhm.
it worked. And so I'm like, okay, let me do an updated version now, and I'm natural, no longer text lags. And so I'm targeting that area so that those people are the ones who get my work.
Yeah.
I market it to anybody on my social media, but my target and my focus is to those people who are just like I was, who need help figuring out what do I do with this hair to make it either grow, maintain it, or I'm going through, hair fallout, hair loss, hair dryness, things like that. And I'm like, hey, this is something you can do. So I'm like, I want to target those people. So those are
Mhm.
the people that I'm working with. The groups that I'm in is about hair. So it's definitely a true statement that I don't care what book you write, every book, every company you start, whether it's food, clothes, games, whatever it's going to be, hair products, whatever, makeup, it all has a targeted audience. It's
Mhm.
always a specific audience that you target first and you branch your way out. And it's just like I heard one girl say that, she had 200 followers and that was all she had. But she targeted her audience
Yep.
well to where in that 200 following, she didn't have a huge following, but she was making over $1,000 a month with such a small group of people.
Mhm.
And it is, and Chanel says she's agreed. Thank you, Chanel. And so you definitely have to know your audience, and
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to do um, for people because in the beginning I had no idea what that meant. And I was trying to get on a radio show in Texas, and the guy told me, he said, who is your audience? What's your demographics? This is back in 2010, and I'm like 2 years into this thing, and I'm like, I don't know, it's everybody. I said the
Mhm.
same thing, everybody else, it's everybody. And he was like, no, you have to narrow that down. Like, who are you trying to reach? And he was like, who knows you here in Texas? Do anybody know you here? And I'm like, um, I should be. I got a lot of friends on social media.
Right.
He was like, no, you got to narrow this thing down. And that was the first time I ever heard. Of course, I didn't get the show, didn't get the show because I didn't know anything. He told me, you come back to me when you don't figure this out because
Mhm.
you got to know these things if you
Yeah.
never trying to get out there. There was a guy who had a clothing store and I was trying to get in the store. And I'm like, hey, he said, okay, so same thing, this, and then the third. And I'm like, what? And I was like, well, it's this, that, and third. I didn't say everybody. I didn't say that. I said something else. And he was like, I tell you what. He said, I like what you're doing. He said, but you have to go down and fix that. And he said, come back to me when you got it figured out. And I just was left so defeated. Like, what are they talking about? I told him I couldn't figure it out. But nowadays they have so much information that can definitely help people narrow down and target
Mhm.
their audience, because at the end of the day, it's like we stated, you have to know this audience,
Yeah.
um no matter what genre you're writing.
Mhm. And
That-
there's a lot of things that'll help you narrow that down. And like I said, having that platform, so you can use Instagram
yeah.
to narrow down your audience. You can use Facebook. All the analytics narrow down that audience. That's how they get us. That's how, when we're on Facebook, we get all these ads or whatever because they're doing the analytics. They're doing the research on it. And you have to do the same thing with
And
your
I think
book.
that I think that's where a lot of new authors mess up. They don't do the analytics on
No.
their social media or anything, because most of them, they don't have a website, so they're not taking email subscribers, so they're not being able to monitor what comes in
Mhm.
specifically for them. Then they're not taking their Instagram, their Facebook, or TikTok, or what. They're not taking that step to look at the behind the scenes of what's
Yeah.
going on. Who am
Who's
I most
watching? Who's
right?
liking?
Who's watching me? Who's interacting? What are they doing? Who are
Yeah.
these people like? Let me go and look them up and kind of pick from there. And you got a
Mhm.
starting point. You have it. You got your social media. You got a starting point.
Yeah. I mean,
So
this week alone, I had 3 new clients doing their social media marketing for them, just, helping them out and trying it. And none of them had their accounts switched over to business. So how can we
yeah,
know what the analytics, how can we even know what your current followers are doing and when they're online and are they women and men and which posts they like and don't like? Like the system is there for you, and it helps you. But like you said, a lot of times, people just don't want to do the work either.
yeah,
Sometimes it's
that's
just not a.
true.
I've gotten that all week. Honestly, Nina, I just don't want
I
to
want
do
to
the
do.
work.
Yes, I hear that a lot too.
So
I
can
hear
you
that a
do it
lot
for
too.
me?
But not doing the work is like you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're not taking the time to, because once you learn it, I mean, it's not a forever thing.
Yeah.
Once you learn it, that starting point is like, it's like a tree that's going to branch
Yeah.
off, because once you can target them and it kind of goes out and out and out, you're
Mhm.
good. That
Yep.
tree begins to blossom, you're good because you found that one sweet spot
Mhm. It
that
comes
got you
natural,
where
and
you
all
need
you
to
got to
be.
do is just continue to reciprocate.
Yeah, reciprocate the same strategy over and over.
Yeah.
Yay! So agreed, it definitely works. So as the author strategist, tell me, how do they reach you if they want help with their marketing, their book publishing services, and anything like that? I know you have a course out as well, which I have one too. I haven't launched it yet. Go back to my nervous stage, but hey, 2022, that's my year, right? So, how can they reach you and your courses and what you have going away?
Well, my main platform is Instagram right now. So if anyone wants to reach me, they can definitely reach me on Instagram. I have a website, www.theauthorstrategist.com, where you can also see the different courses that are available to you. So there is a free course on there for people who are looking for help on how to write their books. And I started that course because I was talking the same thing over and over and over again. So now you kind of get that course digits. So now you can kind of go back to it. You can also reach me on, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, I'm on TikTok as the author strategist. So I'm on all those different platforms as the author strategist. You can send me a DM, or you can click the link in my bio and it'll take you right to schedule a one-on-one 15-minute free session so we can kind of see if I am good for you and what you need with your book and what process that you are in while you are marketing, writing, or even publishing your book. So if you go on all those different platforms, you'll find me in there as well.
All right. All right. So y'all got it right. We got the website, we got her Instagram and her platforms. And when it comes, with the last couple of minutes that we have, when it comes down to your courses, I know you say you have a free course.
Yeah.
What are some of the courses that you have, whether it's free, paid, that help authors out in this? I know you have the free course was for writing, you said,
Yeah.
and then I know you have one on publishing. I think you said
Yeah,
in your bio.
publishing
So
made
yeah,
easy. Yeah,
okay.
publishing made easy. That's more of a master class, so it'll take all the authors through those steps from beginning to end with publishing their book, because I still get a lot of people that's like, I want to write a book, I want to self-publish, I don't know what to
To
do or where to
start.
go. And
Hmm.
although I'm like, you can go to YouTube and different videos. As we know, people like you for you. They like to learn from you because they see you online often. So I created a course for them to kind of walk through it. There's probably not as many worksheets because it's more of one-on-one Zoom video calls. You'll see me kind of taking you literally behind the scenes of everything. Like, we're going to go through Amazon and we're going to go step by step through this process. There are also other courses, and you can find them on my Gumroad account as well if you just click the link in my bio on Instagram. There are courses on, eight steps to marketing,
Hmm.
5 tips on how to market your book. I'm going to put one up here shortly on my toolkit on the very first things that I do before I even think about, marketing my book. It's going to go over setting up your Instagram. And if you have an Instagram, then there's a couple of things you gotta, fix in there, like your bio,
Oh yeah.
your picture, putting up the first 6 photos
Hmm.
on Instagram so you can start targeting that analytics. It kind
Hmm.
of goes through that toolkit as well. And then I have a checklist on there for just 20 questions that people have asked me about marketing and publishing their books. And you can also get a free marketing plan if you go to the link in my bio. I have just a sheet that kind of walks you through all those questions that you probably should be asking yourself before you even think about hiring anybody to market your book or paying for services. You got to have, like we talked about before, that list of things kind of set up. Who is this book
Yeah.
for? Why'd you write it? Where are you going to sell it at? What platforms are you going to use? Why do you want to use those platforms? Why'd you choose the price? I mean, I had a client who was like, her book was $74, and I was like, why'd you choose that price? And what am I getting for $74, honey? And she was just like, I think it's worth it. And I was like, but what are we getting for $74? And
Yes.
yeah, so I said, you got to do that research and see
Oh,
how much are books in this. And people are gonna pay $74 for this book if they're not getting something worth $74. So that
yeah.
takes them, on that path also. Just a couple of the things I hear, like, why is it $74?
Wow. And I can't say I've seen that too. Prices that are like ridiculously high, and it's like, oh well, whatever, whatever. And I'm like, I don't mean no harm, but even the best sellers aren't even
Nah,
doing it like that. Like, let's be real when it
yeah,
comes to your price points and things like that. I know people say charge your worth, but if you're gonna charge $20, what you really
I
get
need
is,
I need some
because
work.
if this is poorly edited book with a not a done wait, what is it, like you do it yourself
Yeah,
book
DIY.
cover, yeah, then you have $20 on it, is like $25 on it, is like $30, like say $74, like wait a minute, really.
Right? Do I get a free session? Do I get a free coaching session?
Something like, what's going on with this,
Yeah,
wow, that is the highest I have seen for a book, man. And I can't say, when you're dealing with publishing platforms, it can get tricky because some stuff can be costly versus
yeah.
color inside, color matte, glossy, laminated, hardback.
Mhm.
All can be really, really challenging. But man, like you say, you gotta learn your price points. My God, $74. Stuck on it. Okay.
Right. I was too. I was like, I ain't trying to make you sad, but no.
Man, let's be real. I mean, yeah, my goodness. Okay. So you guys heard it. Make sure you take her course. Now, is this at theauthorstrategist.com? All
Yes.
right. So you guys, make sure you guys go visit the authorstrategist.com website so that you are able to take advantage of any of her free offers, as well as her courses to help you write, market, publish, and all those good things. All right. So before we go, tell me something you would tell an aspiring author. What would you say to them?
I would say to start, everybody's like, I want to write a book. Well, in order to write a book, you have to start writing. So start writing the book. And while you're writing the book, think about who your intended reader is. And I want you to think about that reader all the way down to how they look. How do you envision them reading their book? Where are they? Where do they, hang out? Are they on Instagram, Facebook, social, what type of social media platforms they are on? Think about all of that when you are, starting your journey with writing your book. And again, you have to start. So a lot
Mhm.
of times I get clients who want me to help them with getting those scattered thoughts out of their head and onto paper. We do that groundwork, and then nothing. You got the outline. You got everything you need. Now you just need to start writing it. So don't be afraid to write your book. Just start writing.
Well, those are some great words. Thank you so much, Miss Nina Stewart, the author strategist, for coming onto the show. And
Thank you so much for having me.
I am going to definitely stay in contact with you.
Yes, definitely.
And yes, and with what we talked about earlier with the your author and everything like that. I'm so excited for you. Wishing you much success, ma'am. And thank you for being on the Strawberry Lit TV and podcast show. All
Thank you
right.
for having me.
All right. You have a great one, ma'am.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Bye. All right, you guys. So that was the amazing Nina Stewart, as you guys heard just a while ago. The author strategist at theauthorstrategist.com. You guys helping authors publish, market, and even write your book, you guys. So make sure you go check her out. I also want to give another shout out and I say a special thank you to the sponsors that we have here. Author Adrienne Edwards sponsored this show. You guys, and also she sponsored with her company at DBM Collections, which is a clothing company, as well as they deal sell mugs and things like that for authors, you guys. So we're gonna wrap this up right now. Don't forget, you guys, to go check out Strawberry Lit Magazine. Don't forget to go and check out the podcast on all the platforms that we are going. We're on Apple, Amazon, Player FM, Spotify. We're a little bit everywhere. So don't forget, you guys, go check us out. Anything that you may have missed, any episode you may have missed there. And next week, you guys, on the 18th at the same time, we're going to have Miss Adrienne Edwards on herself. Our sponsor herself will be here next week. So I hope to see you guys again next week. This live broadcast was put on Facebook as well as YouTube, you guys. So we'll check you out and see you guys next week. Bye.